Okay, so I'd like you to pause the video quickly and I want you to try my do now. Okay, so at this point, you've tried the do now, so hopefully you were being picky and you remembered that you need to do order of operations, so you're going to simplify inside your parentheses first. So this is a negative 3i squared. So this is going to become 9i squared times yi. Now remember, I squared is the same as saying negative 1. So when I multiply these together, it's going to multiply to negative 9yi. And that's my final answer there. Okay, I'm going to erase this so I can have some more space. And then we're going to take a look at this quadratic formula. I want to remind you guys about what the quadratic formula is. So in Algebra 1, you use the quadratic formula to solve quadratic equations. Usually you used it when you had something that you either was difficult to factor or you just couldn't factor it. So the first step to be able to use quadratic formula is you need to get your equation set equal to 0. So the negative 30x needs to move over, and we're going to have this as our equation. Remember to pick A, B, and C. A is your coefficient for x squared, B is your coefficient of x, and C is your constant that stands alone. So here my A would be 1, my B would be 30, and C is 50. So I'm going to go ahead and substitute into my formula. Maybe you had a math teacher with a good voice and they sung the quadratic formula song to you. I am not going to sing it in this video. There's a couple people that sing it with like the Pop Goes the Weasel song. Some people like to use Happy Birthday. Okay. Sorry, my pen is acting a little funky for this video. All right. So I substitute in, and then I'm going to simplify everything that's under the radical right now. So let's think about this here. 30 squared is 900. 4 times 50 is going to be 200. So if I take 900 minus 200, I have 700 left. And then this is over 2. Okay, so you would want to simplify your radical. So if I have 700, I like to do this on the side, otherwise it gets too messy. That breaks down into 107. So that can simplify to 10 radical 7. Oopsies, that does not look like a 7. All right, so this is going to be equal to negative 30 plus or minus 10 radical 7 over 2. So now, if they're asking for simplest form, you're going to look at this fraction. You're going to ask yourself, does this fraction reduce? And it does. If I take my 30 and divide by 2, that's going to become 15. So I have a negative 15 plus minus, and now I have to see, does my other side of the fraction reduce? Well, when I'm dividing and there's a radical, I need to divide coefficient by my standalone number here. So 10 divided by 2, that will also simplify to 5. Okay, so this is simplest radical form for this answer. Now, the only other thing that could happen here is now that we know how to deal with negatives under the radical, we could actually get answers that have an I in it. You know you're going to have an I in your answer, or a complex answer, if you had a negative under the radical. So if this question was going to end up having a complex answer, or an answer that's an A plus BI form, the number under my radical would have been and negative. So as you continue through these questions, you may end up with negative numbers under your radical. You know how to deal with that. You're just going to take the I out. Okay, so I would like you guys for homework to try the other problems on the back of the sheet and bring them in ready to show me tomorrow in class.